who are our too early? I guess the season technically began for some schools. For many of the major schools, it's not beginning until probably the next few weeks. But let's start with the men. So we'll go one for one. I guess we'll go with our top five people that we're going to have, and then if we have any honorable mentions, we can go with some honorable mentions for who we think will be winning the Bowerman for 2025. Noah, you want to start us? And by the way, before we do this, because we did not share our responses. I have no idea what Noah's about to put. Noah has no idea what I said. So if they so happen to be the same, it is not on purpose. Okay.
It is not on purpose. It is
Yeah,
not.
you got it, bro.
So first, I actually have two athletes from the same school. So I wanted to name them first. I have Tarsis Oregot and Samuel Ogazi, both sprinters from the University of Alabama. Samuel was a freshman who had an absolutely incredible freshman year in the 400, placing second at the NCAA championships. He also was an Olympian and ran well there. So I think Samuel Ogazi is a guy to look for. And also Tarsis Oregot is a guy over 200, had tons of success. I think he's run like a 19.7 legally, and also an Olympian. He's just had a hard time putting it together at these biggest meets. He's like a guy that has run really well in like April and May, but not quite at the championships. So with a little more experience under his belt, with Coach Wiley there down at Alabama, I'm looking for both of those guys to be contenders for the Bowerman. So that's where I'll start.
Yeah, I had Orgot as my like first guy out for the exact reasons that you had mentioned of the showing up at big meets of like
Yeah.
that's a big one. And you've been like the NCAA leader multiple years or multiple times throughout the year and like hasn't came out. And now with experience and once you're at that stage enough, then you'll be able to see if you can pull it all together.
Mm-hmm.
So I have him like he'll be on that watch list for pretty much the whole season, but I need to see you put it together at a major championship. So we'll see. But
Yeah.
I'll go with my first one. So first one I've got for you and your Tigers got Godson Ogunbrume. I got him out of LSU, 100, 200 meter guy. Ran 990 last year, SEC champion. He was second at NCAAs 2 years ago. I think he was sixth though last year when at the NCAAs. Had a really heated rivalry back and forth between him and Sean Maswanganye. And so I think that he's got the power and like he can be a very powerful runner and he gives me championship runner vibes as well of like he can show up at these big moments and I think that he'll be able to put it together. Now my question though is he only going to be doing the 100 or will he do the 1 and the 2? I think it's going to be tough to be a Bowerman winner if you're only doing the 100. I think you're going to have to get a few. I mean, we saw it with Mackenzie Long. She wins literally 3 and can't even get in the top and become a finalist. So if he does the 2, like I think he'll be in a good spot. And but yeah, I got Godson Ogunbrume as one of my top.
Yeah, I respect it, bro. I also took Godson. I put Godson on my list. That 990 is a loud 990. Um, and I'm not sure if it should be a thing, but having like the media powerhouse of LSU behind you and just constantly posting graphics and videos, it's just keeping you in the forefront of people's minds. So I think that's actually going to be an influence for him. If he can win the 60 indoors, win the 100 at SECs, win the 100 and be a finalist in the 200, win the 4x100 in outdoors, then I think that will be the recipe for him. But he does need to show improvement over 200. His frame tells me he should be able to carry for 200, maybe if he sheds like 5 or 6 pounds. But we'll see how it goes, man. Coach Shaver, do what you're supposed to do, man. Get this guy right, you know?
Were you guys there together at LSU? Did you overlap at all?
We overlapped for like 3 weeks, so I got to see him for a couple weeks. He was super like timid at the time, shy. He just came over.
Okay.
I don't know where he's from exactly, but I know he came from overseas. So, yeah, but he seems to be a pretty nice guy, pretty reserved guy. He kind of gives crash out vibes a little bit, you know. But yeah, I'm rooting for him though.
Yeah. I think he's exciting to watch. He's exciting to watch. So
Yeah.
who else you got on your list? Oh, you got three
Let's
people
see
in. So
here.
here.
So I've got a newcomer. I've got a newcomer on the list. He
Okay.
came out early season and he popped his shit, and I'm hopping on the train. I'm hopping on the bandwagon. So I got a Johnny Dwyer, sprinter from
Ooh.
Penn State, the freshman, 655 opener in the 60 meters. Um, Former soccer player. I think this guy's ceiling is really high. I've spoken with his former teammate, Shekna Traore, and he gave nothing but high praises for the kid and his talent. So yeah, he popped his shit first meet, and I think he's gonna ride this high. So I threw him on the watch list early on
Okay.
here.
Okay. Uh I wasn't willing to put it up yet. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. Them early December times are hard to keep it going. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to be fast in December and then fast in June. It's a long season. Now, what can be helpful is when you're a freshman, like maybe you don't know what you don't know, and it's like, nah, this is what I do, and so maybe it's just not going to hit you as like a, oh man, I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing. It's just like a, no, I'm just running. So I hope for him. Pennsylvania guy. Shout out Penn State. Big win the other day against SMU. Wasn't even close. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Next one for me. We're staying in the SEC. Hope that I want to make sure I pronounce his name right. Wanya McCoy out of Florida. He was second in the 200 meters last year. In I think overall time. He's fifth in the 100 meters last year. He had a time of 19.93, and then he had a time of 10.02. At nationals, he came in sixth in the 100, ninth in the 200, and fourth in the 4x1. So that's the level that you really need to be at for a sprinter. And depending on who are some of the competition, the people that you're going to be going up against, you're going to have to be able to be in that 2, 1, and 4x1. And he's shown that he's done it already, making finals in those events. And obviously Florida, pretty big powerhouse. You're coming out with Mouse and that coaching staff. They show that they can bring out these Bowerman winners. I mean, they just won one this past year, and they had Grant Holloway and Marquise Dendy. So they can roll him out. So I think that he'll be poised for a big year here.
Yeah, for sure. Florida's loaded up, man, and Wanya had a hell of a season last year. He's got one eye, right? Or am I tripping?
That might be. I think that might be him. Yeah, I think I remember hearing
Yeah,
them talk
so
about a Florida
he had a
team.
hell of a year last year, and Florida loaded back up for some training partners with him. So hopefully he can build off that and get the job done. Like you said, if he takes that step in each one of those events, he'll be one of those guys. So he'll definitely be on the list. At least the preseason Bowerman, he'll definitely be on the list. So I'm not mad
Mm-hmm.
at that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But next I'll take my ACC brother here, Parker Wolf, over there at
Mm.
University of North Carolina. He's already an NCAA champion. I believe he has an indoor record he just broke opening up the
Yeah,
season.
5K or 10K in Boston. I can't. It
Yeah.
was one of them.
So
I think it's 10K. Yeah, I think it was 10K.
yeah, this kid's a stud. He's got a little swagger to him to be a distance runner. No shade at all. He's got some swagger to him. He's already proven to be a champion, big time meet performer. Hey, I think the sky's the limit for this kid. I think he's a senior now, so it's probably like all business for him, all work, no play for him. So Parker Wolf, man, you got a fan out of me, man. Let's go. Let's get this Bowerman, man. He's actually at the top of my list. I didn't name him first, but he is like my favorite right now because
Okay.
it's kind of harder. It seems like for a man distance runner to get it, but the way that things are shaking out, I think he has a good case.
Okay. So my top of the list, I guess you could say, his biggest. I think these two are going to be going at it all year. Another distance runner, Graham Blanks out of Harvard. He is, I think, going to have an incredible year. We know that Harvard distance is a force to be reckoned with. Obviously Bowerman finalist this past year, and so he just broke, I believe, the 5K record, the NCAA's at that Boston meet. It's not going to count towards the Bowerman, but something just to take a look at. He was the cross country national champion this year. Last year he was fifth in the 5K at the national championship. Now Parker Wolf did beat him, and so he's going to have some competition, but I think that it's going to be between those two guys. I think, or those two can be really big competitors. I just got Graham winning against during the head to head on those when they are going to be competing. But I think those can be two of the biggest distance runners. I think there's a couple other distance runners that I'll mention in my when I final up here. But yeah, I got those. That one will be a big person right there.
For sure. I'm all down for collegiate distance rivalries. I think that although they didn't run the same events that these guys run, when Cole Hawker and Cooper were kind of
Mhm.
going back and forth back in like 2021, that was so much fun. And it brought a lot of eyes to distance because it was just fun to watch, and it was a lot of anticipation you didn't know. Kind of similar to like the Josh Kurd, Jakob Ingelbranson situation that you got on the pro circuit, right? So if they can bring this here to the college track and ESPN can cover this properly, I think they got a story with those guys.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like I've been enjoying the like 1500 and 5K are two races that I really like. Once you get to 10K, you start losing me a little bit. Like that's a long race. That's a long race, bro. But like the 1500 and the 5K are like some excite like they're interesting. They're cool, right? Like they're long enough where some like strategy and stuff can go through, and it's short enough where they're still running like dumb fast. Like it's crazy. Like unless you're down on the track, like I've been down on the track a couple times, and they're sprinting. Like these 1500-meter
Yeah.
runners, these 5K, like they're legitimately sprinting for that time. It's like they'll be doing workouts where it's like, all right, 60-second 400, and then take like a minute break, another 60-second. I'm like running 60 seconds in a 400 like that many times. That ain't no joke, bro. Like you sprinting this thing. It's crazy. It's crazy talent.
Yeah, those cats are really talented, man. And just like the decathletes, the distance runners don't get the love a lot of times from majority of the sport. That's just my observation.
Mhm.
But they're immensely talented athletes, so you're gonna get your flowers here on Track World News.
There you go. We gotta bring it out to him. We gotta bring it out to him. So the next two, because I think you're about two ahead of me. So I'll go the next two because one of them we mentioned already. Parker Wolf, I had here. You guys talked about him. I think he'll be a little bit higher on the head-to-head matchups, but should be good. Another distance runner. I think these are going to be the three biggest distance runners, the most exciting stories. There's probably a fourth one as well. But Nico Young out of Northern Arizona, he's going to be really good. His training partner, Colin Solomon, is a top level guy as well. And they're people that have been in this spotlight for a while now. I feel like we've just always been talking about his name, so I think like those level of guys can be pretty good. So who else you
Is
got
Nico
to
Young
round
still
out
in
your list?
college?
Did he turn pro this year? I
I
knew he
think he
was a
might have
junior.
did. I think he might have did. I'm not 100%
Let me
positive, but
find
I
it.
went on his Instagram. Let me double check now. Let me just double check.
I know
I
he
went on
went
his
to.
Instagram and I believe I saw him in a D. Yeah. Let
Oh,
me
he
let me
did
show
turn pro.
you.
Yeah, yeah. Wrong.
So
I was wrong. There you
because I
go. So
wanted to
I
put him on there, and I had to look. Yeah.
got you. Okay, so scratch that out. We put in Colin Solomon instead of Nico Young, his training guy. I thought it was an NIL deal when I saw the post. I didn't realize that it was or I didn't remember that it was pro. So um, there you go. There you go. Who else you got? I got one more guy that I put to round out my top five.
Yeah. So with my last spot, sorry, I had to do a little research there. With my
Yeah.
last spot, I got Jacoby Tharp, hurdler out
Ooh.
of Auburn. I think it's hard for a hurdler to win. We just saw Caleb Dean win the 60-meter hurdle and the 400-meter hurdle outdoors, and he still didn't get the Bowerman. But I think this guy has a legitimate chance to get Grant Holloway's collegiate record. So I think if he does that, that would be a huge case for him to win the Bowerman. So I had to throw him on my list.
He had a really good season. I feel like he kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't too familiar. Like I think um the hurdles had been not as exciting. I think when we had that national championship, it was what, Eric Edwards versus Florida State, who won the
Trey
Bowerman one.
Cunningham.
Trey Cunningham, yeah. Cunningham versus Edwards. That was a really good NCAs, and then there wasn't anyone really for last year or 2 years ago, and then this past year we got that. So it's I'm excited for Tharp. It should be a good one for him. Last one that I had, I'm going 400-meter guy, Texas A&M, Ahmad Robinson.
Oh, come on, please.
What?
Let me hear it. Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
You don't think Ahmad got like he's always been up there? I think he was a semifinalist last year. He's been very consistent across the years in the 400, and I think like he also has the mentality, I think, to be like to break this Morales record in the 400. Like I think he could do it. You clearly don't agree.
Look, bro, I respect the pick, and I don't want to be an Ahmad Robinson hater. Believe me, I don't. But I can only speak on what I see. And what I see is a relay demigod. And that's awesome. Like, that's awesome, bro. When I was still in school, 2021, I remember watching, I was at the NCAA championships, you know what I mean? And he had a hell of a leg running anchor there, chasing down Bryce Deadman and a bunch of other guys. Incredibly impressive. Last year, 4x4, ran his ass off. Ran his ass off. Incredible. What's his open PB? 44.7? 44.8?
Yeah, let me pull it up. His open I think you're right. It's right around there. Yeah.
I can't put him over Judson Lincoln. I can't put him over Caleb McRae. I can't put him over Samuel Ogazi. No, the guy's like a 7th-year senior. I can't put him there. No disrespect, Ahmad Robinson, but hey, go out there and break the world record in the indoor 400 meter. Then we could talk.
Okay. I think he can take a step, bro. Like I think he could be that. Now he got DQ'd last year in the open four, so we don't get to see that. But I don't know. I think he can. I think he can take a step. Yes, he needs to. He's at a 44.91. His best. I believe in you, bro. I believe in Ahmad. Clearly, Noah does not, but I guess we'll find out, bro. You got anyone else on your list, or was that everybody?
I got one name that I
Okay.
think might make his way back onto the Bowerman watch list. None other than my boy Squirrel, Sean Burrell, down there at LSU. He still has eligibility left. Like Ahmad, they're both super seniors, but yeah, Sean obviously showed a lot of talent his freshman and sophomore year, winning back-to-back titles in the 4 hurdles. So if he can have some success this year in the indoor 400, I think that'll speak volumes for him. And he's a great dude. So I'm just really wishing the best for him.
Yeah, I hope that he does well. I mean, I know he had some injury difficulties recently, and so hopefully he'll be back. And like, cause he was one of them guys that I always had as a threat for that USA team in the 400. With him and Trevor Bassett, him, Trevor, and Rye really going after it. So I'm always I'm a fan of his. I'd like to see him get back. It's been some time since I've seen him run like he was running. So he could easily change it up, early in the year, drop some good times, and it's like, all right, he's back. But I need to see him come back before I can just put him on a list. He was someone I was looking at, for this potentially. So
I thought this guy was going to be like a world record holder in the 400-meter hurdles. I'm not going to write him off, but when he was running 47s at 18 years old, I was like, yo, this dude, I don't know.
yeah, I thought he was going. He's still young enough to be able to take that next leap. I guess he's what, 23 now or something like that,
Like
maybe
22, 23, probably right around
22,
there.
23. So it's like you still got a lot of great track ahead of you, obviously, and can still change it up, especially if we're dealing with some injuries in the past. If you come back, like he can definitely be one of them ones eventually. It's just I gotta see him come back from it. I gotta see him come back. So we'll have to see. So I think the men's side of things, we could have some good competition, some good athletes in there.